Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Nicole Gebhardt. So excited to have our guest on today. We're talking to Stephen Hadley, who is a Fit Body Forever boot camp owner in Daphne, Alabama. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so first off, and I called you Steve, sorry, Stephen.
I'll
Um,
go by both.
all right, awesome, thanks.
Yeah,
Big congratulations to you. You are a newlywed.
that's right.
Con-
This past Saturday.
that's cool. So thanks. What
Yeah,
a honeymoon you're spending with us. Thanks.
yeah,
So congratulations. It's a
yeah. A
fun.
lot going on.
Yeah, you do. So I'm excited for both you and Lori. So congratulations. Okay, we're going to talk about your book, The Pinnacle, and specifically your business, your book, how you're using it, what it's done for you, where you see it going, and all that good stuff. Let's start though with your business model. Can you go back and
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about what you do and how you do it?
Yeah, so we started with Fit Body Bootcamp about 5 years ago. We were one of the first franchises with them. I think they have over like 500 now. And so with that program, our main goal is that kind of 35 to 45-year-old range, fat loss, weight loss, and just toning up and things like that. And then in the last 2 years, we started our Fit Body Forever program, which is our functional aging program. So that is where we're like licensed through the Functional Aging Institute. And the goal is, training people in their over 55 is what we call it. So in their late 50s, 60s, and 70s, who want more balance, strength, longevity, quality of life, things like that. And that's more of our small group training model. And our Fit Body Bootcamp is our larger training group model. So we were able to serve both demographics. And thankfully, we're in an area that has a lot of both. So it's been going really well.
So this is your first book, and it specifically is targeting then that mature adult audience. You want
Yes.
to talk about that? What works really well with this audience?
So for them, we feel like, the book was really beneficial because, in our population, or I guess in the U.S. In general, it's like almost like, okay, well, as you get older, you're just going to have to deal with a lot of issues, right? That's just part of getting older.
Mm-hmm.
And what most people don't realize is like there's natural aging processes, right? Like where your hair changes color, your skin loses some elasticity, your heart rate goes down some, but you don't necessarily have to deal with all those chronic diseases and aches and pains and all of those things. That's more of what we would consider decaying, right? And so you have to deal with lower aging. That's going to be there, but we don't have to deal with the decaying things. And so we wanted to just educate our clients and show them that there is a different way, there is a different aging trajectory, so to speak, and just show them some ways that they can accomplish that.
All right, so cool. So we're talking to other business owners like you that are now watching this. Let's talk about your book and how you launched it. So how did you get it out of the world? Because you had a great launch plan.
Yeah, so we did a couple of things, and we're still doing a few things actually. The first thing we did was we had a book signing. So we scheduled that at a local coffee shop that we have a really good relationship with here locally, and we promoted that on our Facebook page. We promoted that to all of our email lists. We have an email list of about 800 people that are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, right? So we have a lot more in general, but just that age group, we have a pretty decent sized list. So and those are all local. So we sent those to them. And that did really, really well. We had lots of our members bring their friends to the coffee shop and get a book. And then we had lots of people that, just said, hey, I showed up to, get a copy of the book. And it was just kind of funny. Some of them like wanted to buy me a cup of coffee and stuff. So it was just kind of funny. But that went really well. We of course give it to all of our clients when they come in for an evaluation. And then two of the really big things that we have planned is I'm doing another book signing at a local bookstore, and then we'll be doing a big giveaway on Facebook. So kind of like first of the year type thing. We're going to start promoting that mid-December, where we're going to give away, like 300 books, and just really try to get that message out there, and then actually mail those to the clients or to the prospects. But then also we're doing speaking engagements. So every single month I'm trying to go out and to speak to local groups. Just got to speak to a pretty large a senior church group of about 75 people last month, and then want to do one of those every single month. So just trying to reach out to our members and say, hey, what groups are you involved in? What organizations? Can we come and speak and set up a table? We'd love to just give out the book for free. And just, speak for 20, 30 minutes. We just let them know we're not trying to sell them anything. We're just trying to, want to come and just kind of spread our message that, that the aging is a little bit different than what most people think, and give out free books. So just a few different things, some online, some offline, but a little bit of everything that's really helped get it out there.
Okay, so this is what we're talking about in our book mastermind group we have with some of our clients that are in the process of doing what you're now, which is getting their book done. And so I want to dig in specifically for a couple of people who I know that are begging me to ask this. How exactly do you go about solidifying a speaking engagement with a church group or a local community group? How do you make that contact? How do you follow up? How do you offer? What do you do?
Yeah, I think there's two ways you can go about it, right? Number one, you could actually just contact them directly, right? And say, hey, I'm a local fitness expert or whatever your field is or whatever, and say, hey, I'm an author and I would love to just come and speak to your group for 20 to 30 minutes and pass out free copies of my book. I think that does two things. One, if you tell them that you're an author, people love to have, uh, credible speakers come and speak to their group, and most of these groups are actually looking for speakers. So instead of them having to go find them, you're reaching out to them. So you're kind of doing them a favor. And then also you're going with a giving hand, saying, I want to just give my book away. You're not there to actually sell books or sell anything. And so I think that's beneficial too. Anytime somebody that's directing a group can say, hey, we're going to have someone that's going to come and give away a free gift, that's always a nice thing for their group. So that's one way. But I think the best way is to, if you are a personal trainer or you do yoga or whatever your situation is, if you have a client base, to reach out to them. And that's what we've done, and ask them, what groups and organizations are you involved in? Because then they can make that connection, or they can make that introduction for you. And that's really what we've done, is they've reached out to the people that are over the groups they're involved in and said, hey, we have, the owner of the gym that I go to, and he would love to come speak and pass out his book. And then it's just they already know, like, and trust that person. So then they reach out to us and have us set it up. So that's how we've gotten two of ours booked. One was like it's not actually until next year because they're really busy with speakers, but it's called the Masters Gardeners Association. So yeah, another very, very large, very good group in our area. And so same thing, just a few of our members are in that group and just made that. And I'll tell you a funny story too before you ask the next question. So I actually reached out to her. So this is the power of a book, right? I actually reached out to the director of that group and said, hey, I would love to come and speak to your group. And this was before I did the book. I would love to come speak to your group. We're just trying to spread our message of, longevity and health for people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. And I didn't hear anything. I wrote the book and I reached back out and said, hey, same message, but I said, hey, I would love to come out and pass copies of the book. And then the next day, I saw one of our members who was a member of the group. I gave her a copy and said, hey, could you give this to the director? She emailed me back a week later and said, Stephen, I read the book. I would love to have you come speak and pass out copies. So there you go.
Yay! That is a great story. Totally.
So that might be another way too, right? Is just to actually drop off a copy of the book or mail a copy of the book to the person that makes those decisions with a note, with a letter even, if you want to go old school with it. But that might be even more effective. So you make sure they get it. That has a letter in it that says, hey, I would love to come and speak to your group and pass out free copies of this book.
Yeah. Particularly powerful if your client comes in as a member and says, this guy wants, I want this guy to speak to our friends. Powerful. So cool stuff.
But that changed everything, though. So that was kind of cool.
So this question is from Megan. I know Megan's thinking it now. Did you do that by email, those requests by email or by phone or by letter?
I did phone and email, but I would recommend doing the last way, and that's something that I will do at some point if I need to reach out by letter, because I just think, again, you could send it, where they actually got it, right? You could send it where they have to sign for it even, right? If you've got a group that you really want to get in front of, send maybe 2 or 3 free copies, a nice letter, and just let them know that you want to come and speak. And, you've got the biggest thing is you want to stress you have nothing to sell. You just want to come and spread your message and pass out free copies. And, of course, we know that when you do that, that's going to get your book in their hands. And, then the book will sell all your services and indoctrinate them and put you in a position of authority by speaking and all of that. So I did phone and email, but I definitely would recommend the letter way too.
Yeah, actually, my preferred way for me is I like to email first and say, hey, I'm dropping something in the mail to you, right?
Yeah. And follow up with it.
And then follow up. Right now you've got a reason to follow up. And so you've got 2-3 touches right in there, right? So you got your email, and then you've got the delivery, and then you've got a reason to follow up. And so you can get 3 nice touches in there totally fearlessly, right? So for the shy person, send the email, mail the book, or send it in via so-and-so. and then follow up, and it's much less threatening. So cool stuff.
Yeah.
I
You
do
know you're
want to,
good. You know they're going to get that physical package too. Like
yeah.
they might not get an email, but everyone will open a package, right? We know that. So,
Yeah, yes, they will. I do want to clarify because
yep.
some of our authors don't give away their books. So that is our number
Okay.
one strategy, particularly for the local brick and mortar owner,
Cool.
like a personal trainer. Our number one strategy is we want to give the book away. But I know I've got
Yep.
some people that may see this video who are like, "You're giving your book away. I want to sell mine." It's a different strategy. So for
Gotcha.
some of you, they may want to sell it. But for our personal trainers,
Yeah.
all day long, we want you giving that book away because one book will turn around to a client. What's a one client worth to you on an annual basis for Fit Body
At
Forever?
least, yeah, in ours, at least, 25 to $2,700 per
Yeah.
year.
So to give
So,
away 75 books and
yeah,
see a couple of those convert into clients,
yeah,
no brainer for you to spend that
yeah.
money all day long.
We've already
So
had 4 people come in from the 75 that we spoke to like a few weeks ago. So,
cool.
yeah.
I love it. All right. So let's talk about there were some really neat things you did on social media as well. You got your proof copies. Do I remember you did something fun with your proof copy when you first got it?
What did I do?
I thought you posted a photo next to a coffee cup. Is that right? Do you remember that?
I'm trying to remember now.
It seemed to me it was like you were hanging out at the coffee shop and you had just a couple of copies, and the first couple of people could come and do it. Is that what it was? I'm trying to remember when it happened.
Let's see. I vaguely remember that. Gosh, I've done so much in
Let me
the
put
last,
you on the spot.
yeah, in the
Okay.
last 3 months. I'm trying to remember, but I feel like we did do something like that. Like we were giving away a certain amount of copies.
Yeah, it seems to me
Yeah,
you did a hot button with just the proof copies alone. Like here I am at the coffee shop. I've got my first two or three, right? And
yeah,
so it was clever. What all have you done? Have you done paid Facebook ads at all, or have you all just done viral with your Facebook ads for
yeah.
the
We've
book?
just we've just done as far as the book goes. We've just done we've done some boosted posts, but our big thing is at the beginning of the year we really want to do a big like we're going to give away 300 books, and we're using that kind of two ways. Two ways. Number one, obviously, we get the book out there, they read it. There's an offer in the back and all of that. But the second thing is we want to build our email list, right? So
Hmm.
we can build our list and then email the people, and we'll set up an autoresponder sequence that says, hey, have you got your book yet? And then, a week later, hey, have you, one of the things that we've found, we've done this with the groups that we're speaking to as well, is you send an email every week for 5 weeks, and, each one just kind of grows. It's like, hey, have you had a chance to open the book? And then, if not, I check it out because on page 63, you're going to learn this. On page 72, you'll learn this. On page 94, you'll learn this, right? Just kind of throwing some more bullet points out there. And then eventually, as you go along, the offer just gets stronger and stronger and be like, hey, I'm sure you probably noticed there was an offer in the back and so on and so forth. So I think kind of like you were saying earlier with the follow-up, regardless if you're giving it away or you're selling it or whatever, you still have to follow up with them. And so I think having their email address in some form or fashion is a good way for you to be able to do that, is to be able to follow up with them and ask them, hey, have you had a chance to see it yet? Or you have a chance to open it? And did you see this part? And did you see the offer in the back? And so on and so forth.
So cool. So I'll dig into that question for trainers because they're going to
Yeah.
want to know how specifically, what ways are you giving away the book? Are you telling people to come in? How are you collecting email addresses when you can? What are you doing?
Yeah, so like I said, we're going to do the big giveaway, and we'll actually do that two ways, right? You can either come by and get it, or we'll ship it to you.
Hmm.
And then, those are the main two ways that we're about to start doing here in the next few weeks. But right now, it's just the events, it's just speaking engagements, the book signings. One of the book signings is the first weekend in December, so that's coming up here I guess next week or whatever, next Friday. So we have a few things going on. And then I would say one of the other things one of the ideas that we have, and I'm not sure if anybody's ever done this in one of your groups, but it's also to actually get a bookmark
Hmm.
printed and have some type of either offer or just other contact information on that, and then just include that inside the book as well. I just feel like that's one more way that they'll constantly just see something on there, as a call to action or something like that.
Yeah, we do that. In fact, we're changing our model on the bookmarks for some of our clients. But yeah, the bookmark is a fabulous way to reinforce an offer and make a specific request. So when you do the giveaways, so like the audience of 75, have you found a way to ask for an email address in exchange for the book, or what are you doing?
Okay, so we're experimenting with that
Hmm.
because we've had mixed reviews both ways. And so for those of your members that are dealing with the boomer and senior population, they can be very different when it comes to giving out their information.
Hmm.
So we're experimenting with different things, and one of the things that we're excited to try out is to say, hey, we're actually gonna, and I know I'm big on giving away stuff, so maybe some of your members might not want to do this, but is giving away like a 3-month membership. Say, hey guys, we have 75 of you here, and if you come back to the table at the back, we'd love to give you a free copy of the book. And if you give us an email address to follow up with you, we'd love to enter you to win a 3-month membership to Fit Body Forever. We're just going to pick one out of everybody here. So that way that there's a reason for them to put their email address in to enter for something, because we found that, just saying, hey, we'd love to follow up with you and send you some recipes and things like that, it's usually just not enough. They're like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And so it can be a tough sell for some people. So I think you just got to have a compelling reason for them to give you an email address or for you to follow up with them, right?
Yeah.
And so hopefully a giveaway, whether it's 3 or 6 months or whatever it's going to be, it's enough to where people will actually want to give us an email address.
Yeah. So I want to pause and highlight, because that is one of the advantages of a book, right? So a book has longevity in it, that even if you're not able to capture their address, like your best client, Betty, takes 3 copies and gives them out to 3 friends, and you don't know who they are. I mean, you
Yep.
won't get an address that way. But the fact that they've got something that's going to sit on their coffee table, their nightstand,
Yeah.
whatever, it's shareable, it's giftable, it's highlightable. Sometimes the return on those investments show up 6 months from now, 1 year from now. Your book may land in their lap when they're not ready to sign. But what we know is it doesn't disappear. So I always call it
Yeah.
disappearing ink, right? Email and Facebook ads and all that tend to be disappearing ink. But when we've got something tangible that we can rest on and know that when the time's right, they haven't thrown that book away, right?
Yeah, they're not, I was gonna say they're not going to throw it away.
No.
That's for sure, right?
Yeah.
They're just going to keep, even if they haven't read it. People just don't throw books away. Like
Yeah.
that's just, not what they do. So
Yep.
I agree.
So cool. Speaking of that, then, what are you got? Sorry, have you got any cool success stories? Any fun stories from your experience so far?
Yes, you're talking about specifically about our Fit Body Forever program.
Yeah. Well, the book and yeah, either one.
Yeah. So we've had a lot of people. Matter of fact, we've had 2 of our members who have gotten the book, and one member came in and she was just like, I didn't know any of this stuff. She's like, she was just like, I didn't know that, walking was not enough to, keep my health going. That's just what my doctor always told me to do. So I thought I was doing good. And she's like, but I noticed that I was getting, I was having less energy and I was having more aches and pains. And one of our members had given it to her. And so she came in, and she's been a member now for almost 6 months, and she wasn't even able to get like up and off the floor without any assistance. Now she can do that just fine. And so that's one. But we've had several experiences where people have come in and just the book. I mean, like that they've come in and some of them haven't even read it. But the fact that the person that wrote it was local for them was the reason why they came in. Yeah. So, it's funny how some of the people, they don't even read it, but they just, and I've learned this about people in their 50s and 60s too, they just really, really gravitate towards like that authority, that credibility of writing a book or whatever, being on the news. Like when I've done news segments for our Fit Body Forever, they always convert way better because they actually watch the news. And and then if you're on there, you must know what you're talking about. So it's definitely worth it for sure.
All about building that authority brand. So let's take your 3 tips, right? You do what, a weekly top 3, is that correct? You see on Facebook
Yes.
a lot, right? So what are your top 3 tips for authority branding then with the book and without?
So I would say number one, first of all, and I don't know if everybody that's listening to this is in the process of writing a book, but if they're not, they should write the book for sure. And then once you have the book, I would also say, so one of the things that I'm doing also is kind of creating like a local media tour, if you would, for example. So I'm going to go on the news on a couple of different stations locally and just say, hey, we've written a new book recently. We want to give away free copies. They can call us and give us their mailing address. So that I should have mentioned that earlier. So that's one more way that we're going to be giving it away. And then, of course, we'll take that video, we'll put it on Facebook and boost it as an ad so more and more people will see it. And then local radio stations, too. Some of our clients, I mean, again, these are stations that I didn't even really know about. But they are like, hey, we can get you on the radio station if you want to come on. So I'm going to do that. And same thing, just go on there for a few minutes. And again, it just looks like, okay, well, this person's like on the radio station, on the news, on, giving away the book. And it looks like, any author that would go on the Today Show or whatever and do a.
Oh, hello. My dog just went crazy.
Okay,
I knew that was coming. I'm like, he's going to blow. Sorry, you're good now.
No, I'm surprised that I'm in my office now. My dog's usually like that. So I think anything that you can do to create that credibility by being on the news, being on the radio, even on Facebook today. I mean, depending on your market, to me, that's like we're even doing a weekly show on Facebook for our Fit Body Bootcamp clients because now so many people are on Facebook watching videos more than they're watching TV sometimes. So depending on your demographic, maybe you just do a weekly thing, a weekly show or weekly videos on your Facebook page and promote that and boost those posts or just, run them as ads. And it looks like the same thing. I mean, for video is so much more consumable now than just a regular text ad for some reason. So I think any of those things that you can do can be effective. And the news stations, don't think that if you've never been on the news before, I mean, what I've learned is now more than ever, rates are negotiable. So when you call them, like you can negotiate the rates. It used to be outrageously expensive to get on the news. Now, at least locally, it's very, very, very affordable. So because of course they're losing a lot of their viewership. And so especially if you're targeting boomers and seniors, they still watch it. They're the people that are still watching it. So reach out to your local news channel. I mean, if you can go on, twice a month, they'll give you an even better deal. So I would say that's one of the main ways that can definitely help you too. That's funny. You're paying the news to get on there twice a month to do shows. All right. Yeah. Maybe if some of your viewers are lucky, they won't have to pay. So Now, depending. Yeah, you can write a press release, right, and possibly get on there for free. But if you're not having a lot of luck with that, I mean, again, they'll definitely take your money to be on there. But the thing is it's just not like I remember 5-6 years ago, even when I went on, it was super expensive, and now it's wow. I mean, it's less than half of what it was because again, they're just their viewership has just shrank, and it's really a certain demographic now. And so at least the local news is. And so I just say, hey, well, can I come on 4 times over the next 3 months for this price? And they say, sure. You can just kind of make them an offer. That's a great tip. And then ending every video segment with a call to action to come get the book. Stop by or go to. Do you have it on your website? Where are you at with that? So I wanted to put it on my website, but because I'm a member of the franchise, they won't let us put it on the website, unfortunately. So I'm going to figure out a way to get it on our Facebook page, like as something that can just be there and be clickable and let people, opt in, give us the email address and their physical address so we can send it to them. But I definitely would recommend that, though. Yeah. So those of you that have a website, absolutely 100% would put it on there because that's going to be a great way because, top 10 tips to have more energy. Everybody's seen that, but hey, free copy of my book, that's a lot different. So I would highly recommend that too. Cool. We can work with you on that. Okay. So any final authority branding tips? No, I think that's pretty much it. I think like I said, the biggest thing is, following up. I mean, we've said that several times, but whether that's with the news station you're trying to get on, the radio station, or the group you're trying to go speak to, and even the people that you give your book out to. If you get that email address, you're really doing yourself a disservice if you don't have some type of follow-up email sequence, that you can drop them into a bucket, and then they're going to get an email once a week for the next 4 to 6 weeks, and that can do the follow-up for you. And even, I know some people are even doing follow-up texting. I don't know if I necessarily want to go that route just yet, but I definitely think you have to follow up regardless, because with a book, most people are not going to consume it as soon as you give it to them. It may take them 2 weeks, it may take them 4 weeks, it may take them 3 months, right? But eventually, once they start to read it or whatever, if you're constantly reminding them to read it and saying, hey, check out the offer in the back, or have you seen the offer in the back, and so on and so forth, or just give us a call for more information, it's just one more way that you can follow up and remind them of what, you gave them or whatever.
Yeah, I love your tip of page 63, page 89. Don't forget, that's a really great tip for people.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Any parting words before we let you go back to your honeymoon?
No, I hope that when we're actually going next week. So it's like
Oh, cool.
Thanksgiving this week, honeymoon the next week, and then Christmas is right around the corner. So like super busy these next, and then getting ready for the first of the year. So super busy these next couple months. No, but if anybody has any questions, I mean, they can reach out to me on Facebook. I mean, I'll be happy to help in any way that I can. So, and of course, because I've only had the book out for a few months now. So the more things that we do that are successful, be happy to share those as well.
Yeah. What I love about your story, it really highlights the book is a marathon. It's not a sprint, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
your book came out a couple of months ago. January, we're launching it in new ways and fresh ways and following up with people. It is an asset for your business that you want to leverage for years. So congrats again for the book, the marriage. Thanks for working with us. We love it. So yeah, we'll touch base again on your success stories. But thank you for sharing now some ways that some of our clients can use what you've learned and do better with their book. So thank you, sir. Stephen, have a great one. Everybody, thanks for joining us, and we'll touch base soon. Take care. Goodbye.
Okay, thank you.